Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Sometimes I encounter people that tell me that they hate coding. When I ask why, I tend to hear some common answers, which I have some issues with. I want to talk about some things I think people do wrong when learning to code, as well as great alternative careers if coding really isn't for you. So before deciding that you really hate coding, you should ask yourself a couple of questions. Are you still learning to code, and how long have you been learning to code? While some people do grasp it fairly quickly, it tends to be an uphill battle for most. It gets progressively easier to learn new concepts, but it's really hard in the beginning. Another key question that ties into this is, how are you learning to code? Are you doing online courses? Again, everybody's different. Online courses work for some people and not for others. I personally took one-on-one lessons with a great private instructor. If you're having trouble, I would highly recommend finding an instructor. Having somebody concentrate on you in that one-on-one interaction really helps. What really made it work for me was that I had these one-on-one scheduled lessons with my instructor, but the lessons would go at my pace. If I didn't understand something that week, the next week we would cover the same concepts. This is something I highly recommend, and I feel like if more people took this approach and learned to code this way, there would be a lot less people that give up halfway through. Another question is, do you understand the fundamentals, or are you learning the fundamentals? Programming fundamentals are things like variables, loops, functions, etc. Something a lot of people end up doing when trying to become software developers is they start with learning the wrong thing. For example, modern front-end development is typically done with a framework. Popular front-end frameworks are Vue, React, and Angular. There's a ton of online courses on Udemy teaching these frameworks. You can go through these frameworks and follow along with the examples, but without an actual understanding of how JavaScript works and how programming works, you're not going to walk away with anything valuable. So to summarize, if you reach the decision that you hate coding without actually becoming proficient at it, look back at how you learned it. What did you learn? Did you really learn and understand the fundamentals of programming? And if learning programming was so frustrating that you gave up halfway, consider taking one-on-one classes with a private instructor. Now, what if you got into software development and you're actually a proficient programmer, but you just find that you don't like it? I have met software developers that weren't really into coding, they kind of did it just as a chore, and you do have a few options to get out of that. There are some horizontal and vertical career changes you can make if you no longer want to program. So by vertical, I mean kind of like a promotion, you'd be going up a level. And in terms of horizontal, I mean a job that would be on the same level as a software developer in terms of pay and reporting structure, but would not require you to write any code. So if you're experienced enough, you can actually make a vertical move, like a promotion to a management position. From what I've noticed, after accumulating a certain amount of experience, more extroverted software developers tend to transition into management, while software developers that might be more introverted or more interested in the technical aspect of the job advance their career down the technical path by becoming principal engineers and etc. Now, if you don't have enough experience to make a vertical move into management, you could make a horizontal move into product management. Product managers are technically not above software developers, and in fact, a lot of product managers I've met have been software developers in the past. As a product manager, you don't write any of the code yourself. You focus more on communicating with the stakeholders and coming up with a product that would be valuable to everybody. Once you have a vision, you create requirements which then the developers execute on and actually create the product. So let's imagine a product manager working at Instagram. This individual might study competing products like Snapchat or other social media applications and use them to come up with ideas for a new feature for Instagram which might bring in more customers. Then this person would go back to the development team and they would work together to create this product. Another very popular career transition for software developers is DevOps. Before thinking about transitioning to DevOps though, you need to ask yourself, do you like working hands-on with technology? While DevOps does not involve programming, it still involves a lot of configuration, working with command line, and things like that. I think DevOps would be the right choice for somebody that likes everything about software development except programming. All of these jobs pay well, all of these jobs have great prospects. You can't really go wrong with any of them, but you do want to make sure that you like what you do. You can also become a UX designer if you enjoy designing things, and there are web development jobs that utilize things like WordPress and Shopify, which don't actually involve what's classically considered as programming. So you won't actually need to learn any programming languages, just HTML and CSS will usually be enough. I hope you found this video useful. I'm going to wrap it up here. Like I said, a lot of people don't like programming because they didn't really learn it the right way the first time. And if you want to do something else with your career, there are plenty of great alternatives. That'll be it for this video. I'll catch you next time.